Hi guys, this is Brenda here, and I wanted to talk to you about homeschooling in the summertime. Um, Actually, even if you don't homeschool your children on a regular basis, all of the fun learning experiences there are to do in the summer. I know with our children, I would save part of their science books from the school year to be done in the summer because where we live, the winter weather doesn't let us get outside and explore up close and personal with nature and all the fun things there are to do. Summer is so much fun, especially for children. They have fun with everything that they set out to do. So why not make learning part of their summer? So learning can also be super fun for them too. Some of the things that we as a family did throughout our summers, just to keep the kids learning, and I would document the things that we did also, the learning experiences that they had, so that that became part of their school year as well. Some of the things that we had done, trying to think here. All right, one of the early things we did when they were younger, we started homeschooling our children when my oldest son was in the 4th grade. He began his 4th grade year homeschooling, and my daughter began 1st grade homeschooling. And then 5 years later, our youngest son began kindergarten, and so we went. But when they were younger, a fun thing that we did, I bought green bean seeds. And you take a paper towel and you wet a paper towel and you fold it in half and squeeze out most of the water, and you open the fold and you lay 3 green bean seeds in there and then fold it back over. And then every day the kids could open that little fold and they check those seeds for germination, and within about a week the seeds begin germinating, and that was very exciting for the kids to see the seeds open up and the root come out. And we drew pictures for their nature journals, and they got to learn, the parts of a seed and how that works. Then, after we accomplished that, and they had had fun seeing how the seeds worked, we went outside and we would plant flower beds, plant seeds for flowers. And we had vegetable gardens when our kids were little, and they got to watch, they planted the seeds, and they were responsible. Everyone was responsible for a job. And then, like, when the flowers became mature, there was a section in their science book to identify the parts of a flower. And the science book will give them a diagram to identify, well, it's more fun in person if you have your own flower and you dissect your own flower and you find all of those parts in a real flower. Learning just comes alive for kids when they can actually see the things they've learned come alive in their own world. So that was fun for them. Another thing that we did, I think this was like a 4th grade project. We identified trees and leaves. We got a field guide. We bought a field guide. I think we got ours at Barnes and Noble, for leaves and tree identification. And we would go around to different parks, or if you know somebody that has a lot of trees on their property, and they would hold a piece of paper on the bark of the tree, just hold it there, and they would take either a dark crayon or even a pencil and do a shade of the trunk of that tree, and you would get an imprint of the bark. The pattern of the bark then would be on their paper. And they would collect a couple of leaves from that tree, and we would put the bark rubbing and the leaf from the same tree, we would put it in a Ziploc bag and close it. And we would do that for however many trees they chose to do that. And then we would come home and we would use our field guide and learn and identify what trees they had come in contact with. And then that became a scrapbook for them as well. We used a 3-ring binder with page protectors, and inside each page protector we would arrange a piece of paper. We would attached the bark rubbing and then the leaf, and then some information someplace on that page of the species of tree, where we found it, the location, the environment around the tree. And at the end of our project of identifying the leaves and trees, each of our kids had a 3-ring binder that they were very pleased with. And we had an evening where they would had their binders on display, and we had grandmas and grandpas over for dinner, and friends, just, you know, and the kids would tell them, they would get to show them what they had done, and they were really proud of that, and they learned a lot. Something else our kids did that was a lot of fun, a little bit not so much fun for mom, but it was interesting. It was learning. Okay, we went out to our park, our city park. They have a lot of big bushes. If you have those on your property, that's even better. And we spread a white sheet under the bushes, and we would gently shake the leaves of those bushes, and little insects would drop onto our sheet, and the kids would collect those. And they had little bug catchers. They were like they had a handle on them, and there was like a little rectangle with like a domed screen, and then a little door on the end that latched that they could put their insects in, and they would collect insects. And then we had a killing jar at home that one of the science books showed us, or gave instructions how to make that. I think it was like a baby food jar we used with like a cotton ball dipped in alcohol. I'm not sure. You could Google that and find out how to kill your insects in a kind way, if there is such a thing. And once the specimens were dead, then they would take them out with tweezers. And we had probably a 14 by 14 styrofoam for each one. And I think I got those at Hobby Lobby. And I got T-pins. And we would pin them on the styrofoam. And also we had a field guide for identification purposes. And they would identify their insects. And we had little tags that they would properly identify and attach right there with their insect. At the end of the season, Amy and Jonathan, my two that did this project, and they both had their styrofoam was full, and the variety of insects was amazing to me. They had dragonflies from the pond. One of them found a humongous spider that was terrifying for me, but she loved doing that and learning about that spider. And they had fun. And I think I want to emphasize that it's not like the drudgery of getting up and going to school every day, or getting out all the books and going through the books. It's outside, it's in the sunshine, it's fun, and they're learning while they're having fun. And I love that. I loved watching my kids learn in their environment while having fun. And there's just nothing like that. You see what else we did. Oh, pond water. Yes, we have a pond on our property, and my kids did this. It was actually suggested in a science book, and I thought, I'm going to wait till it's warm enough for them to actually enjoy this project. So each child, we went up to the pond, and they got a quart jar full of pond water, which is an adventure in itself, because as you all know, too close to the water, you're in mud and muck and yuck, and they got to get muddy, and they're, all of the stuff. But each one would get a quart jar of pond water. And the exciting thing was if you could get some tadpole eggs or some baby tadpoles in your jar, then the fun was really on. But they would gather their pond water, and we had books on pond life, and we learned about ecosystems and how the pond works, what the fish feed on, and the bugs, and what the whole cycle of life that occurs in a pond, which doesn't look like much would go on in a little pond, but there's a lot of life there, a lot of action there. So their dad, my husband, works in a laboratory, so he knew how to place, he made slides for them of their pond water, and they got to look under a microscope and observe what was there, and I try to identify what they were seeing. And we raised tadpoles into little tiny frogs. Um, and we would go to while we were doing our pond study, we would go to the ponds several times and just sit very quietly. We would observe what's going on around us. And my kids had nature journals, which is like a 3-ring binder full of paper for them to draw and write what they see, what they're experiencing. That was fun too, to see everyone's perception. What did Amy see while she was there today? And she would show us, and Jonathan would be like, well, he didn't see that. Where did you see that? Where did you find that? It was fun. Another thing that we did, one of my kids' grandpas started them on this early on, was birds. He got us a field guide to identify birds in your backyard. And everyone and anyone can do this. My recommendation is no cats, though, because cats would take down your bird population, and that's very sad when that happens. But we got a field guide for identifying birds, and Grandpa helped the kids make a bird feeder, which was very easy. There was PVC pipe that he had to put in the ground, and then he mounted a flat tray that he had made. He mounted that on the PVC pipe, and then every morning the kids would go out and they would take a little can of bird seed and put on there. And we had suet that we would hang from the branches for the cardinals and the birds that enjoyed the suet. My mom made my daughter a bluebird house, and we hung that in the trees for Amy to watch for bluebirds to come. We made a robin's nesting ledge. That was a project my older son did, and we had that hanging for years. Robins love to make their nests on ledges. That was a learning experience. I didn't know that. So lots of fun things you can do with that. Friends of ours, we did not do this, but friends of ours purchased recordings of bird calls, and they learned to identify the birds on their property by the calls that they were hearing, like the birds, the noises the birds make. And that was always fun to go to their house, because you would hear a bird and their little ones would just immediately tell you what bird that was. That's fun. That's fun for kids to learn their environment and learn of the things that are, right out there in their backyard that we don't even think about. Something else that's fun to do is a butterfly garden. You could also, once again, purchase a field guide for identifying butterflies in your area and what plants to attract the butterflies to come. I can't right offhand think of the names, but I can see them in my mind. I can see them, but you can look it up. There's all kinds of things to plant that will attract butterflies. And I think butterflies in my area, I live in Southern Illinois, it was toward the end of summer when we would see the most butterflies. So that was something fun for my daughter. She absolutely loves butterflies. There was a chapter in my son's 4th grade science book, how to tell the difference between moths and butterflies. They're different creatures and they have different characteristics. And my kids had fun learning that there's a difference there. My daughter enjoyed photography from the time she was very young, so summertime was a great time for her to be outside with her camera. The pictures are beautiful in the sunshine. She would catch a butterfly on a flower. A lot of fun, just being outside, and nature is lots of opportunity in nature for beautiful photographs. Something else to think about with summertime, if you have older children, industrious children, ambitious children, maybe wanting to make some extra cash. In the summertime is a good time to do that by mowing lawns for people, doing yard work, have a garage sale, clean out their room, organize their toys. This is a good time to decide what they might want to get rid of, what they might want to keep. But garage sale is a good way to make some extra money during the summertime. Also, maybe walking dogs for people, offer dog services, giving dogs a bath, taking them for a walk, babysitting animals while people are on vacation. That's also a nice job for an older child to do. I found as a homeschool mom that summertime offered a lot of opportunities for our children. Fun opportunities. We still had fun, and we weren't always learning, but a lot of times we would find ourselves accidentally learning while we were just outside having fun. And that's what I would hope for you and your family this summer, is to have fun. It's been a difficult winter with coronavirus, and everything is weird all around us. So this summer is a good time to kind of just get out there and have fun with your kids. And let me know if you have any questions, or if you have any ideas or things you might want to know about as a homeschool mom. I've homeschooled my children for a total of 17 years. They're all grown up now, and I'm a grandma, and I love that. Subscribe to my channel, and let me know some ideas, some things you might be interested in, so I can share with you or learn from maybe some ideas you have. Thanks for watching.